And slowly, with a few blinkings, open your eyes directly to your palm. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. And over to Nenad.
And welcome back, everyone. Damn, that was deep, right? I was far away, man. I went to Mars and back 5 times. So like I had to get a message to tell me like, hey, come back, it's your turn soon. So I hope you enjoyed this experience. I did very much. The music, the guided, everything was really good. So if you guys are just coming back a little bit, you can move your body, take some breath, drink some water, because we're moving into the final session of today of this event. And it's a very important session because we're going to move gear into looking forward. We've been talking a lot about 2020, what it's been, people have been sharing their experiences, but I believe it's also very important to look forward to where we're going. And we're going full gear into 2021 very fast. In fact, there's like 10 days or so. So the theme of this last topic is greatness in 2021 and beyond. So I hope you're ready. Let's do it. All right, guys. So first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. All right, my name is Nenad. I'm from France. You can see that I'm in a weird environment behind me. It's because I'm in a mandatory quarantine right now in Bangkok because I just flew back into the country. So this is where my situation is right now. Okay, but regardless of that, what do? I'm a hypnotherapist, self-image coach, and trainer. So in simple words, what I do is I help my clients to change their mindset so that they can go after things that they want. That's what we all want. We have desires. We have things we want to do. And especially at this time of the year, just before New Year, just before Christmas, what do people do? They think, they reflect, and they choose, what am I going to do in 2021? And they write their New Year resolution, right? It's something that we all do, or we did, and then we don't do it because we never follow through. And so people say, oh, I used to do it, but what's the point? So I stopped doing it. And this is the kind of attitude that's very dangerous because people give up before they even start. So if you find yourself setting resolution and telling yourself straight away that I'm never going to follow through, what's the point of doing it? I want you to become aware of that. The first thing that's holding you back is that you're shooting down your ideas before they have time to fly, before they have time to come out of the ground. Those little seeds are dying straight away because you're shooting them straight away. So become very aware of people telling them about their resolution and how their attitude about the resolution, because this is the most important. And this is something that every speaker has been talking about today. There's been one thing in common in this all the speakers, all this team, all these stories that people have been talking about. It's about mindset. So if you ask me, how do we do, what's greatness? How do we create greatness in 2021 and beyond? It's always gonna start with your mindset, your attitude. And I'm gonna go even further because I'm gonna actually tell you a bit more. I think it comes down a lot to your self-image. What do I mean by self-image? It's not about how you look, whether you're handsome or not, whatever that means to you. I'm talking more about your sense of identity, who you are, who you believe you are, your personality. You build up labels, how the world sees yourself, how you see yourself, because it's those beliefs, it's that sense of self, of I am, that impact how you think, how you feel, and what you do, what you think you can do, what you end up doing, the decisions you make, and pretty much everything goes on from there. And so nailing this is so important because we as humans, we have a deep need to remain consistent with our identity, with our sense of self-image. And so that's why most people remain constant where they are. Everybody wants fucking greatness. Like, it's a fucking team, right? Like, I'm gonna make greatness, all of that. You can see it on social media, memes and stuff. But the reality is that most people, year after year, they remains the same, or there's minor improvements. Because the majority of people major in minor things, and it's a shame. And we're gonna be talking a little bit about this and why this is the case and what you can do moving forward to break that cycle. And the first thing is to become aware of that. Like, your self-image, to give you a little bit of a comparison, is just like an AC. I got an AC here. If you live in Asia, you got an AC as well. And right now my AC is set up, I think 25, 26 degrees. I like it quite warm, right? So What happens to my AC? I set it up to 25 degrees and it's gonna cool the room to 25 degrees. If I open the window a little bit, it's gonna blow more air, it's gonna regulate automatically the temperature in my room to be according to the program. But what happens if what I want is 22 degrees or 26 because I feel cold? Do I open the door and just welcome more hot air, or do I bring some ice to cool the room? Or do I change the setup on the air setup? Well, obviously you're gonna change the air, right? You see, with your self-image, it's the same. Most people have, nice goals. I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to find a boyfriend, a girlfriend. I want to change certain things or do certain things. But their setup is they're still relating to themselves in the old way. And so they're trying to get new things by continuing to believe that it's not them. And that's very interesting. And I can tell you, growing up, I was labeled very young as a shy kid. I remember the moment very well when I actually accepted that reality for myself. It was a friend of my parents, a very, very good friend of my parents, Paulette. Paulette is a fantastic woman. And I remember the day when she came to the house, right? And she was telling my parents, Nenad is just shy. That's just his personality. That's just the way it is. And that's what she said so casually, matter of fact, like she knew me best than everybody, right? And the only reason why she said that is because I'm very different than my brother. Where my brother is very loud. As a kid, he was very loud. He was very animated physically. Maybe what you would call extroverted, if you wanted to put a word on this, right? And of course, I enjoyed spending more time on, my toys and playing by myself, and maybe being a bit more alone, maybe more quiet compared to my brother. And that simple thing was enough for people to brand me as shy. So what did I do? I started to relate to myself as being shy, being reserved, and all of a sudden my behavior at school became more reserved. The way I talked to people, the way I talked to girls, the way I was growing up, even as a teenager and later as a young adult, was crafted. It was a big belief for me. So until I didn't know people, until I didn't get comfortable, I had this shy facade. So I was hiding a little bit, I was holding back. And all of that started, why? Because of a belief that was wrong, that was given to me and that I accepted. That's what I mean a little bit by self-image. It's labels that we take on, that we assume are true. And that's a very dangerous thing to do, because we assume things about ourselves and those assumptions become reality. So it wasn't until I became aware and I started, working on myself and becoming aware of myself and questioning my beliefs that I was like, is that true? That being shy is all I am? Is there more to me? And by being able to shift that belief, or today I'm able to talk to you, today I'm able to have conversation, today I'm able to act the way I am naturally, without that label that was, inhibiting my real personality. So now the question is, what's your label? Because even if you have an empowering label about yourself, or you're very confident, it's still a label. It's still some belief that you have created. And some beliefs are working very well for you because they're giving you the results you want. And some beliefs are not working because they're not giving you the result you want. They're giving you more of the same, of things that you don't want. I had a client, I think it was a while ago, and it's a very beautiful story, because that client, she said she only had two problems, right? And the first one is I'm fat, and the second one is I'm ugly. And without going into that story, can you just see how those two labels could be so destructive for that person? What a terrible label to live by, to think of yourself that much. But how many of my clients go through similar beliefs? I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this. All of those things create our barriers, creates our blocks, creates us not going and not reaching out for more in life. That's what it is, right? And so now you may be wondering, okay, so that's wonderful, Nenad. So, but then how do we change that? What's the secret formula? What's the thing that I need to do to shift that then so I can have greatness in 2021? Well, this is, I think, also a trap, because it's not a matter of knowing how. You know, today you can Google it, you can go on YouTube, you can buy it on a book, you can buy a course, you can get your hand on the how for super cheap. And most likely, if you're in this kind of setup today and this kind of event, you've invested way enough, you know how. You know, you've learned 10 times how, 10 different ways to do the same thing. The real question is not in how to do it. The question is, are you doing it? Right? Are you doing it enough? Are you doing it consistently? Are you doing it so much that you're getting the result that you want? Because I can give you the how today, and so many of our speakers today have gave you phenomenal tools, ideas, ways of doing things, gratitude skills, vitality, so many things. But what are you going to do with those things that we're giving you today, or that you're going to pick up in the next course you do, or the next book? And this is another catch, right? Is that we want to know how, but then we don't do anything with it. And this is a timid approach to life. Because we are like Indiana Jones. You know, in the beginning of the movie, Indiana Jones, there's this scene, right? And he's the teacher at the university, and he has this very comfortable life. He has his students, and he's doing nothing. He's just teaching from the book. And then at some point, he gets this call to this adventure, to do this thing, right? And he takes on the challenge. And then what happened, he has to face is so many fears. He has so many fears to face, but that's when his life becomes interesting, because he doesn't have the answer to the things he needs to do in those moments. He doesn't have the answer, but he's playing with it. He's trying, he's experiencing. And greatness is found in your experiences, especially in the one that challenge you, especially in the one that you're afraid to do, which is very, very ironic. And that's why I like the quote that says, everything that you want is on the other side of your fears. And there's been so many beautiful stories tonight of, you know, people going through their fears and smashing their fears and breaking through those fears and getting the reward. And every story you always hear is always about the same thing. You know, I was there, I was afraid, this happened, I broke through it, and boom, I got what I want. And we love those stories because they connect to us and they speak truth to us. But the reason that we don't act on it is because sometimes it's not enough. And it's not enough because our mindset has thickened our fear so much that when we're confronted to our fears, we run away. And so when you harbor limiting beliefs and negative thoughts, and you're in this automatic patterns of shutting yourself down before you even start, or you're your worst critic, whatever the case may be for you, you're making this fear bias so thick that the safest things for you to do is to avoid this pain of that you see in your mind and to run away. And that's why we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So the first step, of course, is to change your mindset, right? And the first step, of course, is to, the simplest way to put it is to change how you think. It's always gonna come down to how you think, because how you think creates how you feel, which creates how you make your decision, which creates how you act. And it's always like a loop, because then you get your result, and then, you know, you have a result, and then you're gonna think according to your result. And then the loop continues. And so you're stuck in this trap that you created, because your results are directly creating your result, but now your results are creating your thinking and how you feel. And now you're in that self-fulfilling loop that you cannot get out of, because you don't have the ability, or you do, but you don't use it, the ability to think greater than where you are right now. It's the typical example of the person who wanna go on a diet. How many of you have ever gone on a diet more than 10 times? Tony, yeah? Come on, guys, right? Year after year, 5 times a year, people go into a new diet. Isn't that interesting? That's something that's so interesting to me. Yeah, I see your juice. Good one, Tony. It's so interesting because how do you relate to yourself? When you listen to people who tell you, I need to go on a diet because I'm overweight, because I need to lose, you know, this, or I need to lose that, or whatever they need to lose. They always focus on what they need to lose. They always focus on the extra kg that they have. They always focus on reinforcing that version of themselves that they want to get rid of. And what people don't get is that the more you focus on something, the more it persists. Because the more you affirm and you reaffirm who you are, the more you're going to create something equivalent to that, even if you sabotage your results. And that's what most people do. They're consciously aware of what they're doing. And the moment their awareness slips, they go back into their own way. Just like the AC that is stuck at 25 degrees. And that's why we have this yo-yo thing. And this is for money, this is for relationship, you can apply this in anything. If you go after relationship, it's probably not the people you're dating, it's probably something you do as well. The question is, what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm being or not being that's creating my result in life? So the first point that you need to think about is really, where in my life am I not happy about? What's my goal? And people have been talking about your goals, right? What do I need to think about in order to create the goals that I want? Because if you cannot think greater than where you are, if you cannot think greater of yourself than where you are right now, how are you ever gonna get there? If you're here and what you want is here, you need to bring your level of thinking to that level. And this is what Einstein said when he said that, you cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that's created it. You need to create a new level of awareness, of consciousness. And the first step to do that is by thinking bigger. And if you don't know where to think or how to think this way, then you get a book, then you watch a video, then you learn how, or you get inspired by people who are doing that. But first you have to realize that my old thinking has to go, because I'm not satisfied with the result that I get. Especially the thinking about yourself. Who am I? What can I do? What can't I do? How do I define myself? What do I believe to be true about myself? And when you start to do that, your fear barrier will start to lessen. And it's never gonna disappear, and that's my next point. It's to not wait that the fear goes on and disappears, vanish, boom, so I can do it. That is an ego trap that you really need to get rid of, because fear will always be there, especially when you stretch yourself, especially when you do something new, something different, something for the first time. Yes, you can make it less. You can make it so thin that you can burst through it, but it's going to be there, it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's why the hardest thing and the toughest thing you can do is to wait, to get ready, to make it perfect, to have all the right things that you need to do, whatever it is that you need to do. What you're looking for is certainty. The certainty that I can achieve what I want. But right now, I don't have that certainty because I've never done it. So one way out of this is to, you can visualize this. You can create a sense of certainty by visualizing what you want. And this is exactly what Abby has been doing with the visualization, which was really nice, by the way. So there's tools you can do, and tools are out there. You can find them easily. They've been given to you today, but you gotta use them. And you're not gonna have to wait that you're perfect, that you've mastered it to use it. Because whenever you do something new, the first time you drove a car, the first time you started to walk, the first time you went on a date, the first time you started dancing, how was it? In my case, they were all bad, right? You're always kind of suck at what you do. Even if you do average, you know that the next time you do it and the next time you do it, it's gonna get better. So it's not about waiting that the fear goes away. It's about doing it. And I like the quote that says, stop waiting for the power, do the thing and you will have the power. And when you think on that simple thing, it is so true, because it's the moment you push through your fear that the fear goes away and something else takes its place. Something else takes its place. There's excitement, there's freedom, there's something. And there's a story that I really like. And it's actually, it's something that Will Smith shared in one of his talks. And I really like it because I think it nails the point so well. It's a story that Will Smith went skydiving, right? And he shares it so beautifully because he shares the the fear prior to skydiving. And if you've been skydiving before, you know that the night before you start to think already about what the fuck am I doing? Am I really gonna start to jump from a plane, right? You know, that tension, and you start to talk yourself out of it. There's the reasons why I should not do it, and you wish the weather is not gonna be good, and then you go there in the morning and everybody's gearing up and they're telling you so many things, and they're telling you the emergency stuff just in case it doesn't work, what we're gonna do. And it's just like, holy shit, right? Like, what am I doing now? And so in my case, when I went skydiving, it was this very, very tiny plane, and it was packed out, and I was the last one in, squeezed by the door. And I'm like almost 2 meters, right? In a small plane. And my instructor was a big guy, almost 2 meters as well. So you can imagine how squeezed we were there. And we were the last one in, first one out. That's how it goes, right? It's very interesting. And so there's this moment when they open the door. You know, they open the door and the light is red, and you're just like this, and you're like, you know, your instructor is holding on, so there's a part of you that's already outside. And it's just like, and like your mind goes into some, you don't know what's happening, right? This is the hardest point of fear, and then it counts on 2 and it just goes. But then something very interesting happens, because as you're falling down there, you know, you have this sensation, you don't feel the fear anymore. And if you've been skydiving, maybe that was also your experience. It's not the fear, something else took its place there. You're just in awe at, you know, what's happening, and it's happening so fast that you don't even have the time to think. And then it opens the parachute, and then things just quiet down. And there's this peaceful moment where you're just seeing everything, and you're like, wow. And you realize that it's so easy. You actually don't doing anything. That's the silliest part. In the whole thing, you haven't done shit, right? It's the instructor has been doing everything. He's opened the door, he pushed you. You just have to stay like this, and your mind is blown up. So it's actually one of the simplest things you can do. But the highest point of fear was before the moment you jump. The moment you do it, you kind of feel silly for the fear, for the stress, for the anxiety. But I'm sharing you this because I want you to know that this is part of the process. Fear is part of the process. Fear is something to embrace, it's something to go with. And when you go with it, it becomes less and it becomes easier. And if you have the right mindset, it becomes so slim that you don't mind it anymore. You're aware of it. And you go with it because you know that there's something greater waiting for you on the other side. But if you keep waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, to be ready, to have read all the books, all the courses, all the seminars, all the people, if you're waiting, you know, post-COVID-19, if you're waiting for whatever omen or, you know, tarot card reader good advice, you're gonna wait for a long time, because that's your fear giving you reasons. And when you got too many reasons, your desire will fade away and your fear will win. And you'll go back into your old ways, doing what you've always been doing and creating what you're comfortable with year after year. And that's why I said that most people major in minor things, because there's very little fear in the minor things. It's safe, it's comfortable. Maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I can handle it. But the major things that you want requires you to also face maybe major fears or discomfort, however you want to label it. So think about this. What are you willing to endure? Which fear are you willing to face to get all the things that you want? Because on the other side of your fears is your greatness, is the talents, those abilities, those things you want to do, those experiences you want to have, those experiences you want to share, those moments you want. And all of your desires are unique. I don't assume to know what you want, but whatever it is you want, you can have it, because otherwise you wouldn't have the desire. So it's never a problem of having the desire. It's always an issue of getting your mindset right, getting your thinking right. If you can get your thinking right, everything else will start to follow. So start thinking greater. Notice when you're putting yourself down. Notice when you're taking compliments and you cannot even say thank you. You're just trying to tell people how bad you are. I see that all the time, and it's silly, but it's such a profound image that you're telling people about how poor you think of yourself. How much shame and guilt there is today about, thinking yourself of being special. It's freaking mad, right? Because if you don't think you're special, who the fuck is gonna think that you're special? You're not gonna expect, and that's the trap of wanting to get a special partner that's gonna make me feel special. But nobody's gonna feel that void that you keep breaking between yourself. So if you've been waiting for that right person or the right thing, have a look in a mirror, because it's been there all along. And if you use the simple things that we've been sharing today, because it's very simple, but it's not easy. It requires effort, consistency, repetition. It's a full-time job. You got I don't know what job you're doing, but I'm just telling you got another job that you're on 24/7. And that is to monitor how you think, your attitude, until you become so good at it that it takes over. But even then, when you get there, you're also gonna need to go to the next level, because this is a never-ending journey. There's always gonna be a next and a next and next level. This is just what life is, further growth and expansion. So as I'm reaching out to my time, guys, I'm gonna leave you with 4 little things you can do to sum this up and to reach for greatness in 2021. The first one is to think greater, especially of yourself. You can never think too much and too great of yourself. If you ask Muhammad Ali, the great boxer in the past, who you are, how do you think of yourself? It's like, I'm the greatest. And he doesn't care about, all his competitors. He doesn't give a fuck. All he knows is I'm the greatest. And today people remember him as the greatest because he started with his belief, his boldness, and he dared enough to tell the world, this is who I am. And I don't give a shit about what you think. Yeah. The second one is it goes with it, to let go of those labels. When you notice you're labeling yourself, your story, you're making those excuses, when you notice the negative chatter, let it go. Realize it's not you anymore. The third one is to dare a little bit more, to play each day. This is not something that you have to do because it's a chore, it's a fucking pain. This is something you have to do because you want to play with life, because you want to see life as a game, with something you can mold, something you can shape, something that excites you, something you can dare to create, an adventure. If you turn this into a chore, you're going to cut yourself off because it's a pain and nobody wants to go through pain. If you go into a diet and you start with the mindset, this is a fucking pain, you're going to give up sooner or later. But if you go with it that I'm crafting something fantastic, I'm going to experience something, I'm going to play with my life, this type of attitude will make things much more enjoyable. So dare to play a little bit with your life. And the last one, and the most important one, do the thing you're afraid to do, and you will have the power. And recently, Mike Tyson, at 50-something years old, came back on the ring after a long journey and became retired for so many years. And the reporter asked him, why did you come back? Weren't you afraid to come back after all those years? And he said, yes, I was. And that's why I did it. Because when I'm afraid of something, I do it. And this is a fantastic champion's attitude. But you don't need to be a champion. You can just be you and have the same attitude. So I'll leave you with this, guys. Greatness is on the other side of your fears. And greatness is in your experiences. So think of Indiana Jones and think about when he found his greatness. It wasn't in a classroom. It wasn't in his books. It was when he was facing his fears, when he was facing all those challenges, that he found true fulfillment, true passion, true desire, and true greatness. So with that, guys, I wish you a fantastic end of the year and a fantastic 2021.